God, hear me, O Israel. Every day they're enjoying miraculous miracles, wonders of God, and even experiencing the wisdom of God. But we see that throughout time, fear seizes the people of God. And they begin to question and they begin to panic. It'd be better if we would have just died in Egypt. It'd be better if we'd have been in Egypt. We sat around pots of meat. And they begin to look back. And sometimes when we're in transition, we have this tendency to look back. Something's weird about our memories, though, because we tend to block out all the bad stuff, right? Sometimes when we're in transition, God is trying to take us to a new place, but we're still stuck and trying to hang on to the old place. God's trying to give us gold, but we're hanging on to silver. And I believe God is taking us on a journey, just like the people of Israel, to a place that is better. So the people of Israel, they're on the verge of the promised land. And it is exactly how God said it. They can see it. They've traveled for a long time. They've been in bondage for 400 years. Now they've been on this transition. But freedom, that normal, is right on the other side of the river. And so that is great news that it was exactly the way the Lord said it was. What God had said is exactly what they are seeing. God has given them the land as an inheritance for all time. And so they all crossed over the Jordan and lived happily ever after. We'll see you next Sunday. No, that's not the way. That's not the way that it rolled out. And people said, yes, it is what God said it was, but it's not going to be easy. It might be a little uncomfortable. Well, I don't know if we're all going to make it or not. But popular opinion begins to swing the attitude of all the people. And I thought about this. We have to be careful of popular opinion. We have to be careful of what the world says and what society says, and even what our government says from time to time, our elected officials. Sometimes we are called not to sway or fall in line with popular opinion. Many times as people of God, we are called to stand and do what God calls us to do, whether or not it is convenient or comfortable or easy. We live in a very hedonistic society. It's about pleasure. It's about comfort. And so we think the key to living is to have the most comfort possible. My question to you today is, are you following the crowd? Are you following popular opinion? Are we standing up as people of God? Are we leading the way? Are we just falling in line? Caleb was one voice versus popular opinion. The other spies are saying, yeah, it's a great land, but there's no way. They're just giant in the land. There's difficulty in the land. There's fortified cities. Our enemy is all over the place. All they're seeing is the obstacles. But Caleb is saying, no, this is the promise from God. And it is what God said it was. And God wants us to go to this new place. And we are able to overcome it because we walk with God. During seasons of transition, during seasons of uncertainty, seasons of fear, you have to be willing to stand alone. You have to be willing to stand alone. Caleb was willing to stand alone and be the voice for the people. Regardless of what everyone else said, regardless of what the mood was at that time, Caleb was willing to stand up for the things of God. Only the bold go to great places with God. The complainers, the fearful, the timid, the faithless, the rebellious wander until they die in the desert. So I don't know about you, but the Bible tells me that my days are numbered, which means I am invincible until God calls me home. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to go play on I-10 this afternoon, right? We need to use some wisdom too. But as people of God, in the greatest transition maybe that we have ever experienced, this weirdness that's going on, it's like we're living in a sci-fi movie and just the movie just never ends. Come on, somebody. This is weird. This is crazy what is going on. But can I tell you, my God says that we don't need to fear disease. My God says we don't need to fear war or the arrow that flies by day or the evil that comes at night. We don't have to fear looting and anarchy and rebellion. All that's going to happen, guys, because this is a fallen place, but we need not fear it. Are we going to be the one that is willing to stand alone? And sometimes you're going to get to that place where it's you and God. And my prayer is, whether you're a believer or whether you've not given your life to Christ, that you would utilize this season of transition, to find God